What's up? This is TheWon, and you're watching The Sport of Kings.
Wildcats.
What they call me, the one and only. I make sure your girl is never lonely.
It's the Sport of Kings, Maryland,
Football. Welcome to Week 4 of the National Football League. I'm your host, the one and only Jodecideion, and you're watching The Sport of Kings. Before we get started, let's take a look back at Week 3 in a little segment I like to call, What Did We Learn? What did we learn during Week 3? NFL. Roger Goodell. Really? Seriously? We need the regular refs back. ASAP. There were some teams with winning records who have been lucky. And then there are some teams with losing records who just haven't caught a break. And finally, the old are getting older. That's what we learned during Week 3. It's now time to see who
activated beast mode
for Week 3, completing 28 out of 39 passes, throwing for 382 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Joe Flacco of the Baltimore Ravens is your beast mode quarterback, rushing for 233 yards on 33 attempts and scoring 1 touchdown. Jamal Charles of the Kansas City Chiefs is your beast mode running back, playing with a heavy heart but still has those soft hands. Torrey Smith of the Baltimore Ravens caught 6 passes for 127 yards and scored 2 touchdowns. Torrey Smith is your beast mode wide receiver. Your team beast mode defense goes to the Arizona Cardinals, accumulating 5 sacks and forcing 2 fumbles, holding the Philadelphia Eagles to only 6 points. The Arizona Cardinals is your team beast mode defense. Joe Flacco, Jamal Charles, Torrey Smith, and the Arizona Cardinals defense all
activated beast mode
for Week 3.
Yeah, this week's Bonehead of the week doesn't go to any coaches or players. It goes to the league, the NFL, man. Y'all got to step your game up with these officials, get this deal done. I'm not saying they're doing too much of a bad job, but the point is they're not consistent. I watched about 4 NFL games, maybe 5, and it's not consistent. If it was consistent, I'll tell you right now, it'll be a long way for those real refs to come through. But it's inconsistent. It's going to cost people big-time games. If you saw that Ravens and Patriots, you definitely know what I'm talking about. So the Bonehead of the week goes to the NFL and the commissioner. Y'all got to step it up.
Now join the S4Y Picks and Prediction Show on the PMK Sports Network, already in progress. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the S4Y Picks and Prediction Show on the PMK Sports Network. I'm your host, the one and only Jodecideion, and my man to my left.
Yeah, your boy S4Y.
Brought to you by Ho-Hos and Ding Dongs. Delicious. What's up, everybody, and welcome to our show. Before we give you our picks and predictions for Week 4, we're going to take a look back at Week 3. S4Y, what were you feeling about Week 3?
Well, it was a couple of things I was feeling. I was feeling the Giants putting that butt whipping to the Panthers, which I didn't think was going to happen from a short week. You know, also, you had a couple of crazy games like the Vikings, you know, pulling up that upset against the 49ers. That was really, really a good game right there. And the Cardinals that we both picked to do the upset on the Eagles. I didn't think the ass whipping would have been that bad, you know, 27-6 game. And then you also have those Ravens and Patriots games, where it was a great game, even though the officials was inconsistent. And one more, you also had the Texans and the Denver Broncos. That was a real good game. Big test for the Texans. They looking real serious.
Yeah, I totally feel you, man. This week, more than anything, it was a week to make a statement. And teams you weren't really feeling or thought weren't that good stepped up to the plate. The Cardinals, I know we picked them and everything. Well, I picked them due to the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles weren't playing so well. They're not that good. But the Cardinals came out, man. They ball. That defense is legit, and you can only imagine how good they can be once that offense start clicking. You know what I'm saying? So the Cardinals definitely stepping their game up. They're up there. But then you have a game like the 49ers versus the Vikings, and the Vikings getting a win, and they got a win. They got a dominating win. I mean, they played them real well. They ran the ball, they threw the ball, even with that rookie quarterback. And the 49ers, I don't know if they were sleeping on them or just not into it. I don't know what the deal was, but they got beat. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I look at that game too as one of those kind of making a statement games. And then you have the Kansas City Chiefs playing the Saints at the Who Dat Nation in the Dome. And I mean, at first the Saints were definitely playing their game. You know, offense was going, they were scoring points, but then all of a sudden that defense just allowed all kinds of runs happening, all kinds of gains. And the Saints, man, I'm worried about them. They really need their coach. You know, he's really that important to that team. And so, like I said, this week more than anything, it was a statement week. Teams that were really about something showed they were about it, and those teams you thought maybe were horrible really aren't that bad. So that's what I saw in our look back at week 3.
Yeah, and one more thought also, like on that Saints, that lets you know you have to play to the whistle blow. That's it. You know, you can do a Tampa Bay, play to the end of the whistle. You know what I'm saying? Don't get a big lead and just coast. And one more game that I could have put in Boneheads, but I didn't decide to because I wanted to put it to the officials. It was the Lions and Titans. How can you have a miscommunication that bad, either to go for it on 4th down or kick the tying field goal to force overtime? That was ridiculous, though, on the Detroit Lions. But yeah, that's my thoughts of this past week.
Going 2-1 and 3-0 last week, with an overall record of 5-4 and 7-2 for the season. Here are our picks and predictions for the 3 most interesting games of Week 4. Game number 1, Sunday afternoon, CBS Sports. The 1-2 Oakland Raiders heads to Mile High to play the 1-2 Denver Broncos. The Oakland Raiders coming off their first win in an upset victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers last week. And then you have the Denver Broncos, who, by most accounts, has been everybody's Super Bowl pick coming out of the AFC, are now on a 2-game losing streak. S4Y, what are you feeling about this matchup?
I think this matchup is big for both of them. And I'll have to say a little bit more maybe for Denver because they have more high hopes up there with Peyton Manning. I ain't picked them to go to the Super Bowl or really get out the AFC for the simple fact they do have the hardest schedule in the league. So I didn't really expect that much for them. As you know, I expect Peyton to play great. I think he's playing really good. People talking about his arm strength or whatever. I think his arm strength is a little off, but I think it's nothing to be scared of. I think they right on target. They just played against a real legit Texans team last week. So they back at home going against these Oakland Raiders that seems to be an off and on switch all the time. They was on by beating Pittsburgh with a long field goal. But this team is always dangerous because you never know. Oakland's going to come in there and if they do what they do best and then run and then throw this ball with Palmer the way they've been doing last week and little by little, they're a real dangerous team. Oakland is always a dangerous team. It's just an on and off switch with them. But Denver, I'm staying with Denver on this one just because Peyton Manning is going to ride the ship right out and get out of here with a 2-2 victory. You know, a 2-2 record right out of there.
Right. You know, man, I'm gonna play that card again. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go with the Raiders. However they say it, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to go with the Raiders for the upset just because that offense is balling. Carson Palmer threw for 3 touchdowns last week. And then you got McFadden who rushed for over 100 yards. And everybody's catching balls. The defense has always been, there, with that front line. It's just that after a while, you're not scoring any points. You get real tired because you're on the field all the time. You end up losing. And Denver, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if this Denver team's better than the Tebow team last year. You know what I'm saying? It don't seem like it. The running game's not there. That defense is giving up all kinds of games. You know what I'm saying? And they got great players back there. So, matchup-wise, if Oakland get that running game going, I can see them pulling the upset off. So, I'm going with the Raiders for the upset. Game number 2. Sunday Night Football, NBC. The 2-1 New York Football Giants heads to Lincoln Field to play the 2-1 Philadelphia Eagles. The Giants, once again, are in prime time. This is like their 3rd game on national television. And after that short week, they totally demolished the Carolina Panthers at their home last week. And then you had the Philadelphia Eagles, who've been stumbling out the gate since the beginning of the season, winning games, even though they've been getting turnovers left and right. And it finally caught up to them last week when they got just destroyed by the Arizona Cardinals. S4Y, what are you feeling about this matchup?
Well, this matchup is a division rivalry, so which is always great games to watch. The Giants versus the Eagles at Philly's house. It's a big game. It's a big game for both, more for the Eagles, because really the Eagles could easily be 0-3 right now. This supposedly, fantasy team on paper and whatnot. And when you play a real legit team like the Arizona Cardinals, they expose you for what you are. So they got 1 week to prepare for the champion New York Giants, and if they don't get it straight, they will easily be 2-2. But nobody will look at that as a 2-2. They'll be looking at them like if they was 0-4. So they really need to step their game up, stop the turnovers, and play serious. The Giants, what they need to do is just get back to basics like they did with the Carolina Panthers. Don't make it too difficult, because sometimes when you have a long gap in between games, they come out kind of dry. And I know the Eagles they're gonna be up for this game regardless. So what the Giants need to do is just play that hard defense, hit Vic for a while. He's going to give you a couple of picks, a couple of turnovers. They've been doing it all season long. I'm going with the G-Men because I don't trust Philly to do nothing right about now. So I'm going with the champs all the way.
See, man, this is another one of those games where it's like you want to use your heart, you want to use common sense, your gut, whatever you want to use, because there's so many different possibilities that come out of the game. For one, we had the Philadelphia Eagles, who have a winning streak over the Giants. I mean, they've been beating their tail the last couple of years in important games, sending them home, with their lunch and everything. But then you look at this Eagles team, all those superstars on the offense, on the defense, yet they're playing like these scrubs. And then you have the Super Bowl champions, New York Football Giants, who last week just gave it to the Carolina Panthers, and they did it with like third string guys. You know what I'm saying? Starting running back gone, starting receiver gone, starting lineman gone, and these guys out of nowhere, straight off the streets of New York, came in and just balled out. And so, and of course, I believe in Eli. You cannot deny the fact that this guy's a superstar. This guy is a great quarterback. And so, put everything together, the streak, playing in Philly, what's going on, how everybody's playing. The common sense says I'm going with the G-Men to win this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if somehow a Deshaun Jackson type thing happened again and Philly get the win. But on paper, I'm going with the G-Men to win this game. And our final game of the week, Monday Night Football, ESPN. The 2-1 Chicago Bears heads to Jerry World, aka Cowboys Stadium, to play the Dallas Cowboys. The Bears, it's kind of hard to say what's going on with them, man. The offense should be there because you have those new receivers, Brandon Marshall, and that connection he has with Jay Cutler. But they're still not it's not just getting together yet. But they're still finding ways to win because they have a great defense. And then you have the Dallas Cowboys, which, just call them the question mark team. You never know what you're going to get when the game come along. They played a great game in week 1, and since then have just played horribly against the Seattle Seahawks the next week, and then this last week against Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. That game right there it even brought up more questions. So, S4Y, what do you think about this matchup?
Well, you bring up good points, and the thing is, Dallas, as far as I know, they all intact. They got all their weapons ready, and I know Tampa Bay defense. They beat them. They scored 16 points, but this defense is the same defense that Eli, a week ago, threw up like 30-something points. You know what I'm saying? So this Cowboys got a legit offense. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand. They struggling with that offensive line. They struggling with getting their offensive weapons the ball. And the Bears are known for good defense, just as Dallas. Both got great defenses. So I could see this game, a 6-3 game, or it could be a 21-18 type of a game. But at the end of the day, I think the deciding factor is going to be defense. And if Jay Cutler could get some protection, or enough protection for him to make some plays, which I think he is, I think the Bears are going to pull this one out. It's going to disappoint those Cowboy fans out there, and they're going to go 2-2. I think Jay Cutler make maybe a connection here and there, but I think on the defensive side, the Bears are going to make the difference. That's what I think.
Yeah, man. Everybody know I'm representing Texas down here on this side of the show, and the heart says go with the Cowboys. The head says you never know what you're going to get. You bet money on Cowboys, you end up broke. But I'm gonna go with the damn Cowboys. And for this sole reason, I don't trust Jay Cutler. If I had to choose between Jay Cutler and Tony Romo, I would pick Tony Romo. And that's saying a lot, because Tony Romo, I don't trust that dude at all. But you look at the situation right now with the Bears, Matt Forte, I believe, is still hurt. He didn't play last week, and we're not sure if he'll come back this week. But you never know. He might make it. But still, if they have to rely on Jay Cutler balling out, I'm going with the Cowboys. Jay Cutler just throws interceptions, and he loves to get hit. He loves to get tackled and just caressed by the large arms of the defensive ends and tackles. You know what I'm saying? He just loves that. You saw how he was telling his boy to let him keep on getting hit last week, a couple weeks ago. And so, if DeMarcus Ware and all those cats can really get to him and sack him, he'll get frustrated. He'll throw picks to Carr and everybody, and they can take it to the house and score points. I'm seeing a low-scoring game due to the fact that it's you got a Urlacher and those boys over there on the other side of the Chicago Bears, and but at the same time, I think the Cowboys can get maybe more field goals than the Bears. So I'm picking a close game, a defensive struggle, a horrible game to watch. If you like offense, I'm going with the Cowboys to win that game. Thank you for watching the S4Y Picks and Predictions Show on the PMK Sports Network. I'm your boy, the one and only Jodecideion.
Yeah, and I'm S4Y. Like always, subscribe, comment, share, like. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate the feedback. I'm out.
See you next week. Take care. Once again, thank you for watching the Sport of Kings NFL YouTube series. We'll see you next time. Take care.